Hello students, today we will study transitive and intransitive verbs. Now students, the verb can be transitive or intransitive. So the verb can be transitive or intransitive depending, means it depends on whether they need an object to make a complete sense. Okay, so the verb can be transitive or intransitive on whether they need. So means the verb can be transitive or intransitive depending on their need. Means depending on their need, they need an object to make a complete sense. Okay students, so the verb can be transitive or it can be intransitive. It depends on whether they are going to take or whether they need or whether they are going to take an object to make a complete sense. Okay, so it depends on the whether they need an object or not. Okay, so the verb can be transitive or intransitive. It depends on whether there is a need of an object or not to make a complete sense. Okay students, now direct and indirect objects. Students, verb can have two objects, direct and indirect. Now direct objects is a noun or pronoun that receives, means that receives or takes the action of verb. Okay, so direct object is a noun or pronoun that receives the action of verb. Do remember that receives the action. Okay, that receives action of verb. Now it is identified. How it is identified? It is identified by asking the question who or what in relation to verb. Okay, so it is identified by asking the question who or what. Now see here example, it will be more clear students. The teacher praised Jeevan. Now if I only say the teacher praised, the question arises in our mind who. Okay, who? Then the answer will be Jeevan. Okay, so the teacher praised Jeevan. It answers the question praised who. Okay, I hope it must be clear to you. Now the indirect objects. The indirect object is a noun or pronoun that tell us whom or for what the action of verb is performed. Now here it tells us to whom or for what. Okay, indirect object, it was identified by asking who or what. Now here it tells the pronoun that tells us to whom or for what. To whom or for what the action is performed. Okay, the action of verb is performed. See example, the tailor showed her a beautiful dress. Now it answers the question showed whom. Okay, the tailor showed her, so it answers the question. Now just you leave this one, and the tailor showed a beautiful dress. Now in our now somewhere the question arises whom. If I read this question, the tailor showed a beautiful dress, the question arises whom, showed whom. So the tailor showed her. Okay, or the tailor showed Sheila. It can be noun or pronoun. Okay, remember that for a verb to have an indirect object, there must be direct object. The indirect object usually appears before direct object. Okay, now remember that for verb, means for verb to have an indirect object, for the verb to have an indirect object, or the verb if having the indirect object, there must be direct object also. Okay, the indirect object usually appears before direct object. I will give you the example, I'll show you. So just the verb to have, if the verb is having an indirect object, so there is must to have an direct object. If there is a indirect object, so there should, if there is an indirect object, then there should be, it is must that direct object should also be there. And usually indirect objects appear before the direct object. Indirect object appear before the direct object. See here, she is a subject, she gave me a book. Now she is subject, verb gave, indirect object me, and direct object book. Okay, now it has said that to have an indirect object, if indirect object is there, then there must be direct object, right? And the indirect object usually appears before. See, the indirect object is appearing before the direct object. The indirect object is before the direct object. She gave me a book. Okay, she gave me a book. So the direct object is me, it is appearing before direct object. He bought her some flower. So indirect object is before the direct object. Okay, now transitive verbs. A transitive verb is a verb which needs an object to complete its meaning. Now, transitive verb is a verb which needs an object, to complete its meaning. So, transitive verb takes an object to complete its meaning. If there is no object, then the meaning will be incomplete. Okay, so do remember, transitive verb takes an object to complete its meaning. See example, they bought some vegetables. Now here vegetables is the direct object. Now vegetable is direct object of the verb bought. Okay, so here the vegetable is a direct object of the verb bought. It answers the question, what did they buy? Okay, what did they buy? So it answers the question, what did they buy? So the bought is a transitive verb because it has the object vegetable. Okay, the bought is a transitive verb. Why? Because it has object, and transitive verb needs object to complete its meaning. Now if I read they bought some, if I read this they bought some, then you feel that there is something missing. So something missing, and it needs any object to complete the sentence. So they bought some vegetable. So it needs object to complete its meaning. Okay, so bought is a transitive verb which needs an object to complete its meaning. Okay students, so do remember, transitive verb needs an object to complete its meaning. And from this example, I hope it is very clear. Vegetable is a direct object. Vegetable is a direct object of the verb bought. It answers the question, if I say they bought some, now it answers the question what they bought? Vegetable. So bought will become here transitive verb because it has an object. It has an object vegetable. Okay, it has an object vegetable to complete its meaning. Okay, students? Now, an intransitive verb. An intransitive verb make complete sense by itself. Now, intransitive verb make complete sense by itself. It doesn't need any object to complete its meaning. Okay, so intransitive verb make a complete sense by itself. Okay, so it make a complete sense by itself. It doesn't need any object to complete its meaning. Now see the example here. The race began. Here the subject is race and the verb is began. The sentence does not have an object, but it makes a complete sense. The verb began does not need an object to make a complete, yet the verb began does not need an object to complete its meaning. So hence it is intransitive verb. Okay, so here the race began. The race is subject and the verb is began. Now the sentence does not have here any object, but without an object it is making a complete sense. Okay, the verb began does not need, okay, the verb began does not need any object to complete its meaning. So hence it is transitive verb. Okay, now here are few more examples of transitive and intransitive verb. The cat chased the mice. Okay, transitive verb. Transitive verb. The cat chased the mice. Transitive verb. The cat is sleeping on the couch. Intransitive verb. Okay, now the cat chased the mice. Why? The cat chased. The cat chased the mice. It needs the object mice. The cat is sleeping on the couch. The cat is sleeping on the couch doesn't need any object. Okay? Rabbits love carrots. It is transitive verb. Why? Because it needs an object, that is carrot. Rabbit loves carrots. Okay? The rabbit is going into burrow. Okay? The rabbit is going into burrow. It is intransitive verb because the rabbit is going into burrow is not taking any object to complete its sense. Okay? Now students, we will see verbs of incomplete predication. Now students, some verbs, though intransitive means without an object, need other words to complete their full meaning in the sentence. Now there are some verb, though it is intransitive means without object, still need other words to complete their full meaning in the sentence. Okay, now see here. Sanjay seems angry. Now here the word angry completes the meaning of the sentence. It tells us how Sanjay seems. Okay, now if I read this, Sanjay seems. Now the question arises, Sanjay seems what? How it seems? Okay, it tells us how. Okay, so means if I leave this Sanjay seems, so it will be like it is missing, something is missing after seems. And also the question arises, Sanjay seems how? So when we put angry here, the angry completes the meaning of the sentence. Okay, so Sanjay seems angry. Angry completes the meaning of the sentence and it also tells us how the Sanjay seems. Lord Krishnadev Raya was wise. Now, King Krishnadev Raya was wise. Now, here the word wise tells us the kind of King Krishnadev Raya was. Okay, the wise tells us that kind of king. It tells us the kind of king. Means wise tells us the kind of king the Krishnadev Raya was. Okay, now here students, this angry and wise. The adjective angry and wise help complete the meaning of the sentence. These adjective angry and wise help complete the meaning of the sentence. They are helping to complete the meaning of the sentence. If we leave it like that way, Sanjay seems, the King Krishnadev Raya was. Okay, if we leave these two words, it is incomplete. Okay, if we put angry and wise, so after putting angry and wise, it is giving a complete meaning. It is giving the complete sense or giving a complete meaning to the sentence. Okay, they are the complements. So these words, they will be called as the complements of the verb. Okay, so they will be called as the complements. So these words will be called as the complements of the verb, of the verbs. Now the verbs seem and was. Obviously these verbs seem and was. So this angry and wise is working as a complement of the verb seem and was. Okay, so the verb seem and was require a help. Okay, they require help, or they require a complement to complete their meaning. Okay, they require a complement. Okay, they required the help of complement, you can say. Okay, they required a help of complement, or they require a complement to complete their meaning. Okay, without that the sentence will look incomplete. Okay students, so do remember this seems and was, the verb seem and was require the complements to complete their meaning. They are intransitive verb of incomplete sense. So they will be called as intransitive verb of incomplete predication. Okay, they are intransitive verb of incomplete predication. Now students, see in this box words which help to complete the meaning of verb. Okay, as I have explained you here, so the words which helps to complete the meaning of the verb forms the complement of verb. Now the word which helps to complete the meaning of verb, here the verb requires the complement. Okay, so that's why there here it is saying the words which helps to complete the meaning, to complete any verb takes the complement, or you can say the word help, the word which helps to complete the meaning of the verb form a complement of verb. Okay, so the word which helps to complete the meaning of verb, they will be called as a complement of verb, as they are telling something, or they tells us something important about the subject. Okay, they are telling something important. Why? Because they are telling something important about the subject. Like as I gave you the example, Sanjay seems angry, so it is telling something about subject. Okay, subject, so they will be called as a subjective complement. The verb which takes the verb which takes complement. Okay, the verb which takes complement. Do remember, okay, to complete the sentence. That will be complement of verb, and they tell us something important about subject. They are telling something important about subject. That's why they will be called as a subjective complement. Okay, they are telling, like Sanjay seems angry. Angry is telling something about the subject. So they will be called as subjective complement. King Krishnadev Raya was wise. Okay, wise is telling something about King Krishnadev Raya. Okay, so it will be called as a subjective complement. Now, intransitive verb which needs words. Intransitive verb needs words other than object to complete their meaning are called as the intransitive verb of incomplete predication. Now, when the intransitive verb needs word other than, when the intransitive verb needs words other than object, apart from object, okay, apart from object they need words to complete their sense, then it will be called as an intransitive verb of incomplete predication. Now see example here. Transitive verb to takes complements. Now transitive verbs also takes complement. Now see the example here. The prince appointed him minister. Okay, the prince appointed him minister. Here the pronoun him is the object. Here the pronoun him is the object. The noun minister tells us what the man was appointed as. Now, the prince appointed him. What? The prince appointed him minister. So, the noun minister tells us what? What? The man was appointed as? As a minister. Okay. Okay. So, do remember the transitive verb to takes complement. The prince appointed him. Here, him is the object. Okay, him is the object. The prince appointed him minister. The noun minister is telling us what the man was appointed as. What the man was appointed as. Okay, the prince is appointing him as a minister. No, so minister is telling what the man is appointed as. So he is appointed as minister. Now, Pritha found the extra classes useful. Here the noun classes is object and the adjective useful tells us how Pritha found the class. Now, Pritha found the classes useful. Okay, classes useful. Now the adjective useful is telling how the Pritha found the class. Sometimes we say how you found the how did you find the class, how my class was. You people will say very interesting, useful, right, like that. So the word useful tells us how Pritha found the classes. The useful is telling the Pritha found the classes very useful. Okay. Now, the word minister and useful are complements. Now, the minister and useful. See here, the minister and useful are the complements of the verb in the sentence. Of the verb in the sentence. They are objective complements. They are objective complements. Let me clear here. The word minister and useful are complements. They are acting as the complements of verb. These minister and useful are acting or working as complements of verb that is appointed. Minister is a complement of verb appointed, and here the useful is the complement of the verb found. Okay, they are objective complements. Now I will explain you what is objective complements. Now the complements that give information, the complements which give information, which is telling something about objects. Okay, the complements that tells us something, which give information about object of verb, they will be called as objective complements. Okay, the complements give information about object. Now the complements tell something about object. The complement is minister and useful. They are giving information about object. So here the complement is minister and here it is useful. They are telling something about object. Now in the first sentence object was him, and in second sentence the object is classes. So the complement is giving information. The complement that is minister and useful is giving information about what? About object. About object of verb that is appointed and found. Okay, so the complement which gives information about objects of verb, only you can say the complements which give information about objects, that will be called as the objective complements. Okay, now transitive verb which need the help of other words. Now transitive verb which need the help of other words to complete their meaning, they will be called as a transitive verb of incomplete predication. Okay, now the transitive verb which requires the help. Now transitive verb which needs the help of some other words, which requires the help of some other words to complete their meaning, to complete their sense, they will be called as a transitive verb of incomplete predication. Okay students, thank you.